Hello and welcome to this virtual information session for Yoga Trek 2020. I'm going to present a little bit of the background of Yoga Trek, and just bear with me while I share my screen with you so you can see all my pretty pictures and information. So this is designed for people who couldn't quite make it along to our in-person information sessions. I hope you enjoy and learn a little bit about Yoga Trek 2020. So I'd like to just start by posing a question. Do you know, I'm based in South Australia, and I was wondering if anyone out there knew the highest elevation in South Australia. And this is a picture of what it looks like. And this is a Google map of where it is. If you said Mount Woodruff in the Musgrave Ranges, you'd be right. The elevation is 1,435 metres, and interestingly enough, Kathmandu Valley is 1,400 metres. So we're starting off in Kathmandu at pretty much the highest elevation that we get to in South Australia. And I can tell you that to get to the top of Mount Woodruff, you can do a 6-hour round trip hike and get to 945 metres. So just keep that in mind for a few of the other numbers later in the show. So the purpose of this presentation is to tell you a little bit about how Yoga Trek started, what happens on a Yoga Trek, and why you can benefit and why you should come on Yoga Trek 2020. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is why Nepal? Well, Nepal is actually the birthplace of Buddha in a place called Lumbini. It's somewhere between the 4th and 6th centuries BC. So this is a picture from Buddhanath, one of the biggest and most important Buddhist stupas in Southeast Asia and in fact the world. And at the time that Buddha was alive in Nepal, the region was also being influenced by a lot of forward-thinking philosophers and schools of thought from the Upanishads and the Vedas. If you know anything about yoga, that would sound familiar, but basically the ancient texts from which Hinduism comes, from which yoga comes, from Ayurveda comes, all from these texts, were all kind of being added to at this time. And it turns out that Buddha did follow some yogic practices. It said that he had, in fact, 2 teachers. And so yoga is a place where Hinduism, Buddhism, all these things come together. So this here is a picture of Pashupatinath Temple on the banks of the Bagmati River. It's, I guess it's similar in Nepal, like they have in Varanasi, the cremation ghats. And this was built around the same time as Buddhanath. So my connection to Nepal started in 2007 when I went to work as a volunteer physiotherapist. And I stayed with these lovely ladies on the right of the screen, Mingma and her daughter Kesang, and my other host sister Pasang. And they are from the Langtang region. And I always wanted to get back to Nepal, and I always put it off, and then I had a little health scare of my own. And what that made me do is really stop and think, okay, what am I doing with my life? How much joy am I getting out of what I'm doing? Perhaps I need to take a pause and actually do some of the things that are on my bucket list, one of which is returning back to Nepal, knowing the benefits that I had when I trekked and did yoga on my first trek in Langtang. So in 2015, there was obviously the Nepal earthquakes when lots of people were killed and injured, and you get the immediate aid and things recover, but there's still a long-term impact on the economy. So the idea of Yoga Trek is to help bring more people back to Nepal, especially to the Langtang region. And I don't know if you can appreciate this picture, but what it shows is the side of the mountainside in Kathmandu Valley, and it looks like, being from Australia, it looks like a bushfire has torn through because all the trees look bare, and if you look really closely you can see some that are knocked over. And this is 4 years on from the earthquake, just about. And what happened when the earthquake came, it dislodged some glaciers which dropped down and sent an air blast down the mountain at about half the force of the Hiroshima atomic bomb. And that caused a lot of devastation itself. So helping bring people back to the area and supporting the area through tourism and the economy and giving jobs is what we want to try and do with Yoga Trek. So what happens on a yoga trek? Good question. So what it's not is, it's not a competition, so the boxing gloves can go. It's not complex gymnastics that only a select few people can do. It's not a detox, and it's not starving ourselves and depriving ourselves of things. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Go back. It's not a couple people running ahead and leaving you behind, and it's not starving ourselves. But what Yoga Trek is a group of people having fun, coming together and achieving their goals. It's great food. The picture of Nepali momo is one of my favourite. It's maybe the occasional drink. You've got to celebrate your wins. And some cake. So the yoga side of things is we'll do some chanting. There's some singing bowls there, which there are a heap in Kathmandu. Looking a little bit more at the philosophy behind yoga as well. We're going to work on some breathing techniques which help us when we're trekking, and also at times when we're stressed or anxious. Proper breathing is so powerful. So there's obviously some yoga postures, and being a physiotherapist and yoga teacher with over 10 years of experience in each field, I can adapt the yoga practice to suit anyone, and we have a full range of participants this year, people who have a regular yoga practice all the way through to people who've never practiced before. And of course the trekking. So Yoga Trek is a 3-week program. It involves some preparation beforehand. Prepare yourself to be challenged with physically, visit some cultural sites, to do yoga, to trek and to have fun. So this has got to be my most favourite yoga hall in the world, Yogashala. It's Lasho Yoga Hall in Namabura. After arriving in Kathmandu one day, we head to Namabura where we spend 2 nights, really kind of a nourishing couple nights. Great healthy food from their organic garden, at least 1 yoga session a day, and a little bit of a practice trek to get there. So we're going to stop a couple hours trek before we get there. Our gear gets taken all the way to our accommodation, and then we get to try out our trekking legs so that we know if there's any bits of equipment that we want to get. And then we return back to Kathmandu for 2 days, and we get to visit the markets. There's some picture of a huge range of lentils at the markets, a funny sign, there are lots of funny sights that you'll see. And there's a picture of our group from from Budanath. So culture and markets visiting for a couple of days. And we travel to Langtang on our private jeeps. The picture on the right shows that the road was so bumpy that even though I'd been in the jeep almost all day, my GPS was registering 5,024 steps because every few bumps would count as a step. And then we get to trek for 10 days. And this is a little picture of Lama Hotel, one of the first night's accommodation. And I'll tell you more about the trek in a second. So it's 10 days of moderate intensity. Our highest points are going to be up Kanjengumba. So we start down here at Sarabensi. We take a couple days to get up past Langtang and we stay at Mundu. And then we do a short trek to Kanjengumba where we can stay overnight there. And then the next day you've got a chance to go up to Kanjenri, which is a little bit further up, and then come back down. And the next day we come back down. And the next part of the trek will take a couple days to get up to the sacred Gosankun Lake before making our way back down and then leaving back to Kathmandu from Dunche. So we can walk anywhere between 3 and 9 hours a day, and we cater for fast and slow walkers by having a Sherpa at the front and our guide follows up the rear, and I'll be somewhere in between. So Langtang is that area marked in red, and you may be able to see it says Rasua as well. Oops, I touched the screen. So yeah, that's where it is. And if you look 2 kind of districts down, you can see KTM. That's Kathmandu, right in the centre there. So we go up to the Rasua area. Well, it's the first national park in Nepal and one of the closest, probably the closest trek to Kathmandu. So be prepared. In Kathmandu, you'll get Western toilets. Pretty much on trekking, at least 80% are toilets. They may have a view like this beautiful view here, but they're going to be mainly Western, squat style toilets. And it's important if you want to use toilet paper to carry your own, or carry wipes and maybe a little nappy sack to put it in. Otherwise, you can use the water, and you can see a little green water bucket there. Houses, so there's basic accommodation. The picture on the left is what the bed looks like, and the one on the right is a typical kind of dining hall. So you sit there around the fire when we get in the afternoon, have cups of hot cocoa or coffee or a lemon tea, have dinner, and then snuggle into your sleeping bag for night. Tea houses, you get a range of food options. Dal bhat is on the right. So dal is the lentil soup on the left-hand side of the picture there. So that's your dal. Bhat is rice, and tarkari is vegetables. So different array of vegetables, and then some chai tea. And this is just another kind of example of the types of bedding configurations. Everything has been worked out to be twin share accommodation. In Kathmandu itself, we'll be in 4- and 5-star hotels for about 4 or 5 nights in total. And this is the inside of another typical kind of dining hall where we stopped for got a bit cold, we got a bit tired, so we pulled in for a nice cup of lemon tea or flask of lemon tea. So benefits of Yoga Trek. You get to set a goal, and over a series of months get fitter and stronger, and that sense of achievement when you attain that goal, and you learn about yourself in the way, and you learn about other cultures. And this is what Helen had to say. I remember saying to Emily at the end of the 3rd day that I absolutely loved today, and for me I had the best day. For me, the sense of achievement when you walk in remote areas is unrivaled. It requires an effort that not everyone can or is willing to put in, which makes it all the more memorable. It's also the amazing people that you'll meet. I think the reputation for Nepali people far exceeds, I think everyone knows someone who knows a Nepali person that they love. They just love the culture. If you ask people why they go to Nepal, it's because of the people. This is what Annie had to say. The chance to learn from Lakpa about his culture, his family, and his dreams and ambitions, not only for himself, but the people of Langtang, is one thing that Annie really loved about it. And so we're supporting the local community. So we're trekking in the area using local guides, local porters, and supporting them. And we're trekking at a shoulder season, so it's not the peak season. It's a little bit quieter on the trails, and it's trying to spread out the income that they get from trekking. So that's the Goria Bakery and Coffee Centre that Lakpa runs, and he makes the best chocolate cake, so we will certainly be asking him to bake us one. And it's really the whole package of friends, adventure, and yoga put together that makes it such a special combination. And this is what Lee had to say. Nepal is gorgeous with its rich culture and beautiful scenery and lovely people. The trek was everything I imagined and so much more. And meeting Lakpa was so nice. What an awesome and friendly guide. And of course, Lakpa is one of our partners, so he will certainly be on Yoga Trek 2020. So you've kind of now seen what Yoga Trek is and how it came to be, the sights and experiences that you'll come across in Nepal, and the unique blend of challenge and fitness and exposure to spiritual practices and culture, as well as hopefully forming friendships and connections that are long-lasting. So the next step is to go, if you would like to know more information, go to my website, www.emilyiglesias.com.au/Nepal, and you'll be directed to this page. You can download the full tour prospectus here with all of the details. Flights are inclusive, so it's comprehensive travel insurance. If you have any pre-existing conditions, there may be an extra fee. In-country transfers, personal guide with group at all times, your trekking team, almost all your meals, yoga, any tips, they're not having to fork out for more tips, and all your accommodation twin share, at least 4 to 5 stars in Kathmandu, tea houses elsewhere. So what's not included are visas, passport fees, transfers in Australia, some desserts, drinks and snacks, and your spending money. So, so now that's pretty much all that you need to know about Yoga Trek 2020. If you'd like to know more, please reach out to me at hello@emilyiglesias.com.au. I'd love to answer any of your questions, and I hope to see you on Yoga Trek 2020. Thanks. Bye.